Hey there, I'm Justin from thecarflip.com. Wanted to give you a very basic overview of what it's like to buy and sell cars for profit. Now, everyone's bought and sold a car at some point, or I say most people, because if you've ever had a car and got a different car, you've probably had to sell the one that you had. That's the easy part. Selling cars isn't difficult. Like your grandma, your Aunt Sally, your Uncle Rick has sold, 14 cars because he's 97 years old and that's just how many he's had. That's not difficult. It's the making money while you're doing it, the buying and selling cars for profit, that the difficulty lies in. And the most important part of that is buying a car properly. Now, I'll walk you outside. I'll show you the way that I currently buy and sell cars, and that's from a dealership model. It wasn't always that way. I used to flip cars from my house, from my driveway. Actually, if you go back if you're on the channel right now, if you'll click through some of my videos, go back 2-3 years ago, you'll see me in my driveway. You'll see me, sitting beside a car, taking tires off, doing stuff in my driveway, in my front yard. I had one, then there was 3, then there was 7, and then there was just too many cars in my yard where my wife couldn't get in and park anymore. She didn't like that. So now we're here. We're right outside of downtown Raleigh. Downtown Raleigh's right over there. Our front line, it's not huge because I don't do a ton of cars. We've got, I think, 10 or 11 right now on the front line. We've got several that are close to being ready, but how do you do the same? And maybe not run a dealership, but how do you buy and sell one car at a time? How much money is there to be made in it? And is it even worth your while? For me, my average profit per vehicle is $2,000 per car. So if we did quick math on that right now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cars on the front line right now. 10 times 2,000, that's $20,000. So if I were to buy and sell 10 cars a month and make my $2,000, that's $20,000 profit. If you do that times 12, that's $240,000 potential profit there. Now, you're saying, I don't want to sell that many cars a year. I can't sell that many cars. I don't even know what I'm doing. I've never even flipped a car. You don't have to have this many cars to be profitable when it comes to car flipping. Think about this. If you were able to make $2,000 per car and you could sell 4 cars a month, that's what, $8,000? 8,000 times 12, that's $96,000. That's enough to change things, at least your perception of what your job should be. Do you need a job? Can you do this full time? What if you can't sell 4? What if you can only sell 2 and you make $2,000? Or what if you can sell 4 but you can only make $1,000 per car? I'm not saying you're gonna make $2,000 like I do on every single car when you're first getting started, but it's definitely possible. At its most basic level, buying and selling cars for profit is buying a vehicle and then selling it for more. So where you buy it, this is the most important benchmark when you're buying and selling, where you buy it. Because the amount that you sell it for is kind of set in stone. If you go on Craigslist, if you go on Facebook Marketplace, Let Go, OfferUp, all the different apps where you can sell things, you're gonna see a baseline established where people are asking. So for example, if we're talking about, let's say, this 2005 Lincoln Navigator. This is a 2005 Lincoln Navigator, has 140 something thousand miles. They range anywhere from 55, maybe down to 5, up to closer to 7. It depends on the mileage. If you have one with 212,000 miles, you might can buy it for 5. If you have one like I do with 140,000 miles, you might can get closer to 7. So I have this price at $69.50. I really can't go much more than that. There's no way I'm gonna sell it for 95. There's no way I'm gonna sell it for 82. 7 really is my ceiling. But where I buy it, that's negotiable. So for me, I have right at $3,500 in this. I have it priced at $69, and on this one, honestly, I'm overpriced a little bit. $59 would be a good sweet spot to sell it quickly. That gives me room to come down $400 and still make my $2,000. I'm just testing the markets on this. It's a really nice vehicle. It has a 3rd row, it's leather, has heated and cooled seats, it has DVD, has a little power, what do you call it? The power step guards that come out when you open the door. So it's a fancy car. It feels like a $7,000 car, but I'm probably not gonna get that. But my $2,000 profit is still gonna be maintained even if I do sell it for 59 or 55. But that number is where I had to work hard to get it down to 35. So I purchased it at 35. My possibility of 7,000 is up here. So there's a possibility, best case, on a perfect day, I can make $3,500 for it, but I'm probably not. So if this number comes down, I'm still down here. I still have a possibility of a $2,500 profit. Now, if we were to go down the line, there's $2,000 profit margin here. There's a $2,000 profit margin here. There's a $2,500 profit margin there. Actually, on this Impala here, I'm only probably going to stand to make about $1,400 or $1,500 because I honestly didn't buy that one at the best time. I bought it during tax time. Prices were high. I paid more than I should have. But then we go over to that one beside it, probably $1,700. On the one beside it, I'm gonna make exactly $2,000 profit tomorrow. That's a 2006 Mercury Montego. I paid $1,400. I have a guy come to buy it for $3,400 tomorrow. He just called me and basically left a voicemail because I missed him. He said, hey, I'm coming to grab the Montego tomorrow. He drove it yesterday. He's buying it for his girlfriend. So there's $2,000 profit set in stone, assuming he comes and buys it. But that's a nice, easy sale. The one beside it, there's a well over 2,000. The one on the end probably is going to be closer to $1,700 or $1,800 profit. So just a quick rundown. That's off the top of my head. I could be missing a little bit on the numbers, but it's possible because I bought them correctly. That's the most important part of car flipping, is buying the vehicle correctly. And you would say, well, how do I know where to buy? You're going to look at the market like I was talking about on, let's say, the Lincoln Navigator. So we see prices, we see where they're at, mileage, condition. Maybe some of them have a salvage title. You're going to understand that those are going to go for less. So you're going to understand there's going to be a trend that's going to be established based on mileage, based on condition. You're going to see a trend in where those vehicles are priced at. We want to be able to be at the bottom, and we want to be able to sell at the top. Very basic math. I might be oversimplifying that a little bit, but at its most simple form, car flipping is buying at a good price and selling at a reasonable price. We're not going to oversell the market. We're going to sell where the car should be priced, but we want to buy below that. And you might say, well, how can I buy below that? Sometimes a good deal will just present itself. Like sometime, a couple years ago, I was on Craigslist. A 2002 Jeep Wrangler popped up for $4,000 cash. I called, went and bought it immediately. I didn't even negotiate. Sometimes that same Wrangler, 2002 Wrangler, will pop up for $6,500, and I offer $45,000 or I offer $5,000 because I want to create that $2,000 profit margin. So sometimes you have to create the deals by negotiating, and sometimes the deals just present themselves because some people don't understand how to price their vehicle properly. The guy that priced his vehicle at $4,000, the 2002 Jeep Wrangler, he didn't know what it was worth. He bought it brand new. He'd had it ever since. He'd driven it back and forth to the beach. Didn't have a ton of miles on it. He just wanted it gone. He priced it at $4,000, and I was there first with the cash in hand. I bought the car, and I did really, really well on that 2002 Jeep Wrangler. So that, in a nutshell, is car flipping. That's how it works. You're going to buy at a good price. You're going to sell at a reasonable price. Where you buy is where you create the profit margin. Everything in the middle is your potential profit margin. Any work that you have to do, repairs that you miss along the way. So let's say you're looking at a 2003 Honda Odyssey and you miss that it needs a transmission. The only reason I say that is because if you look right over there, that Honda Odyssey is one that I bought, and I missed that it needed a transmission. It drove perfect until it warmed up. I didn't drive it till it warmed up completely, so I had to spend $475 to buy a transmission and pay roughly around $300 to have the transmission installed. I missed that, so my price that I could sell it for is probably between $300 and $3,500. So let's just say $3,000. I paid $1,000. Thought I had my $2,000. I had to put $700, so my profit margin shrinks because I didn't look at it as I should have. I got in a hurry, and honestly, I knew better, but I didn't do the work ahead of time that I should have done. So at its most basic form, that's car flipping. If you have any questions, you're watching this on YouTube or maybe Facebook, post in the comments below. I'd love to come behind and answer any questions that you might have. But in its most basic form, car flipping is buying at a good price and selling at a reasonable price. Your profit margin is created when you buy, because your selling price is pretty much set in stone. Create that profit margin the best you can by negotiating and being on the lookout for deals as they come about.